Towards the end of last year, I ordered this super cool 24-foot V-nose custom trailer, complete with an escape hatch, and it just now showed up. It's the greatest thing in the world. We've painted the wood with kills to seal the wood, and there's vinyl flooring that's coming in. But the biggest issue I noticed right away is that the light that came with it is woefully inadequate. So I wanted a nice soft light that covered the entire trailer, and then I'll put specific lights where I feel I need them. But basically, I wanted to leverage this technology of these LED neon strips because they provide a very nice, soft, diffuse light. They take very little power and they take very little room. The problem came when I was looking for clips. All the clips are designed to mount the neon strip perpendicular to the surface, and I wanted it pointing down so it would bounce, so the light would bounce off the white walls and just flood the whole trailer. Towards that end, I had to do a whole lot of research, and I found something that will work, and that's why you're watching this quick tip. So if you take regular wood staples for NM cables, I'll put a link in the description below where you can get them on Amazon. Same thing with the LEDs, and same thing even with this Project Farm approved driver, because sometimes you don't need to take your, I didn't want to take my Makita out and you know, batteries and all that. Sometimes you just don't need a gun at a knife fight. Plus this is the super cool No Cry brand, the one that he tested and came out the best. I'll put a link for that in the description below as well. But I wanted to do this cheaply, quickly, and easily. So these staples just happen to be the perfect size for the neon strip. And all you have to do really is just pull the brads out, take the screws. I like to kind of seat them in a little bit. There's no drilling required with any of this. Then you just take the driver and just seat the screws. So I already did the other side just to test to make sure that all this is going to work and that you don't need any drill bits or anything like that. Use 1/2-inch screws. You don't want holes on the outside of the trailer. But let me show you how to put this in, and then I'll show you what I went with as far as light switches are concerned, which is obviously just a regular light switch. And why not, right? They're cheap, they're easy to replace, and the walnut units make them relatively flush. It works really well. So let's get to installing this, and I can show you how all of that works. So basically, all you got to do is pick your start point, hold the staple in place, bring out your No Cry, and just drive it in. Put the top piece in. Make sure we stay nice and straight. Of course, you want to make sure that the side with the connector is actually towards the front of the trailer. And I found that about every 2 feet or so, although I'm going by these spars up top, seems to work pretty darn perfectly for this. And you'll notice that on this side, you actually do see the back of the LED strip inside. If you're really motivated, you can take this cap off and the other connector off and solder to this side. I don't care, it just simply doesn't make a big enough difference. Let me do the rest of them, and then we'll get to the other end. So in real time, even moving the camera around, and as shaky as I am, that took only about 8 minutes to put in one side. Let's plug it in and see how she looks. Pretty sweet. I'm going to take a shot of this so you guys can see what this looks like at night. Now let's finish up the wiring. So for the light switch, I just got one of these Legrand units. They're cheap, they're like around $5 or so. And then cable raceway to cover up the wires, of course. This gives us multiple options. Probably what I'm going to do is position 2 of these because they couple together just like that. Actually, they lock into each other just like that. And that will probably define right where I want to put the light switch. I ended up cutting a little bit over an inch off of this one, just because I didn't like where it was going to end up. But I'm going to use the included double-sided tape, and I'm just going to use that to stick it to the side of the trailer. If it ends up falling off over time, then I can always screw it on in place. But, you know, for the time being, this will work. It will be difficult to make this difficult. And let's just kind of eyeball where we want this thing. I'm gonna say right about there is close enough for government work. Push it on. We still have enough room up top to snake our cables through. Okay. Alright, once I sorted out exactly where this is and used a pair of wire cutters to clip this out, I'm using number 6 by 1/2 inch screws because that's a safe balance between strong enough but not going through the side of the trailer. So let's get this one down. There you go. And if I got this right, it should clip in. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is run the wires through, and that should be it. Screw the light switch in, of course. Alright, everything's wired in. Let's see how she does. There's just a little bit of light peeking out from the door just so we can see, but it's pretty darn dark in here right now. Let there be light. Look at that. That's a thing of beauty. Plenty bright and cheap. This whole thing cost me roughly 50 bucks, and it'll cost you about the same thing depending on what you have on hand. And for point of reference, right now we're drawing 42 watts. This is a lithium camping generator. Eventually there's going to be, since this is in the front here, eventually here there's going to be a, you know, a cabinet and a little table and all kinds of stuff, which is why I just let the cable hang down. But the cables are nicely dressed. Really, you can't even really see them. There's only one that goes across. Also, once again, you can't really see them. And there you have it. Cheap and cheerful. A couple of notes. You're looking at a fair amount of voltage drop. This is not the brightest the LEDs get because a camping generator outputs 12 volts exactly, and there's a fair amount of 18 gauge cable. So this is probably 2/3 maximum brightness of these guys. But the nice thing about pushing them not to their limits is that they'll last forever. If you were to connect this to a generator or to your tow vehicle putting out 13.8 volts, you can see a significant improvement in brightness, but this is plenty bright. Looks great. So there you go. Don't forget to ring the bell, subscribe. There's a lot more stuff coming. And the next video I'm making, I promise, is Vectric Turbo related. I'll catch you guys next time.